Okay, good morning. My name is Crystal Thomas, and my role is the Configuration Management Integrated Product Team Lead at Naval Information Warfare Center, Pacific, located in San Diego, California. The center provides the U.S. Navy and military with essential capabilities in the areas of full lifecycle engineering for information warfare, research, development, and technology transitions, applied electromagnetics, photonics, and atmosphere propagation. We develop offensive and defensive cyber capabilities, positioning, navigation, and timing for laboratory and test facilities, rapid prototyping and delivery, cloud-based digital development environment, cloud-enabled digital, DevSecOps, agile core services, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, decision optimization, development and support of unmanned systems. So as you can see, we do a wealth of different things for the U.S. Navy and military as a whole. So as also presenting alongside of me is Miss Lisa July from J2E Technologies. This is the company that is working with us to establish our ERIS implementation for the enterprise. And you will hear from her further down in the presentation at a more in-depth look at what we have been doing.
Good morning, everyone. As Crystal stated, my name is Lisa July. I work for J2E, and I am the Senior Data Manager for the CM program that is supporting the integration of METIS into our environment. Take it away, Crystal.
Thank you, Lisa. All right. So let's give it a second for the next slide to move. All right. So our agenda today will include the following topics that the CM-IPT at NAVWAR Pacific has been working towards: engineering of the defense system, digital CM requirements, our digital CM approach, an enterprise authoritative source of truth, our full lifecycle digital thread, the solution, what did we decide, software items with compliant baseline reporting, change management with integrated impact assessments capability, ECN process integrated with JIRA and our implementation plan, and then where we currently are in the establishment of our solution and what that roadmap looks like. Next slide. All right. As you may be aware, in the federal government, there are regulatory and statutory requirements released through policy, instructions, directives, and standards that guide the direction of the workforce towards the goals of the overall strategic mission. One such instruction came out in November of 2020, the Department of Defense Instruction 5088, Engineering of the Defense System, expressly gave our direction the empowerment to implement a digital CM approach and to provide automated tools to establish, control, and curate product attributes and technical baselines across the total system lifecycle. The CM approach will identify, document, audit, and control schedule, cost, functional, physical, and performance characteristics of the system design. Number 2, specifically track any changes, dynamic changelog for in and out of scope changes, formal engineering change proposals, and provide an audit trail of program design decisions and design modifications. Provide for traceability of mission capability to system requirements to performance and execution metrics. The digital CM approach meant we as an organization has to start looking at CM from a data-centric approach, vice change management, and document-centric approach. The systems engineering plan is still the document developed to guide the program's specific systems engineering activities. The SEP will include the following details as usual: technical baseline management, requirements traceability, and configuration management. However, now, due to this instruction, it will also include the approach for digital CM in digital engineering. So this will include the evaluation of the continuous end-to-end digital representation of the system, establishment of a digital authoritative source of truth with configuration controlled digital baselines, and maintain CM throughout the life of the program. and access for OSD, stakeholders, and interdependent programs to be able to view the data. This digital approach requires looking at the CM approach for the use of automated tools that will establish, control, and curate product attributes and technical baselines across the total system lifecycle. This will allow us to identify, document, audit, and control schedule, cost, functional, physical, and performance characteristics of the system design, specifically track any changes and provide an audit trail of program design decisions and design modifications, provide for traceability and mission capability, requirements to performance and execution metrics, and establish and maintain the functional, allocated, and product baselines via the appropriate systems engineering technical reviews. So this will give us a holistic approach from the end-to-end traceability of a product lifecycle. Technical reviews will provide a venue to establish the technical baselines, assess the system's technical maturity, review and assess technical risks, provide transparency to continuously monitor the maturity of the program throughout the lifecycle. And as you know, programs will conduct these system level reviews dependent on ACAT level and in accordance with the new policy captured in the systems engineering plan. At a minimum, we will do system requirements reviews, preliminary design reviews, critical design reviews, system verification reviews, functional configuration audits, production readiness reviews, and physical configuration audits. None of this would be possible on the accelerated schedule of today's DevOps environments without a digital authoritative source of truth. This source will manage the technical baselines used for the identified technical reviews. This will allow for specialty engineering groups to use the information from and to contribute to model-based systems engineering, software engineering, reliability and maintainability, quality and manufacturing, human systems integration, and safety system engineering, providing us a robust view of our end-to-end digital thread. So the digital CM approach with METIS. In response to this digital CM requirements approach, the CMIP at NIWC Pacific began evaluating the CM policy, processes, and procedures and tools in use by NIWC Pacific almost 2 years ago. Early this year, we selected ARIS Innovator 12 to be the tool that will be the backbone to realize our digital CM approach in engineering to connect the enterprise digital ecosystems. This has been a game changer for us in bringing CM into the digital age. By expanding our tool capability and updating the enterprise CM policy permitted us to first make requirements available and fully traceable. Through system design, verification, and validation, this will also allow for an automated requirements traceability matrix to be created and on demand. Second, by integrating model-based systems engineering with METIS, or ARIS Innovator 12, the system architecture is the anchor for the design. This enables system architects to share part analysis from MBSE tools into our digital engineering environment. Programs are able to create a systems engineering framework to give teams a common system context while providing traceability and configuration control in the model and downstream design. Third, cross-discipline collaboration is realized. As individual teams move into detailed design, it is critical that they collaborate and share the same data. Software and services in today's systems add complexity to the product design. This is where METIS becomes the communication backbone connecting the right information to the right person at the right time. Again, one of our goals was to be able to have people work in their same tools and be able to share information outside of those tools into our baselines to provide that traceability at the right time, while effectively managing engineering changes and variants across disciplines and systems. And last, fourth, METIS permits us an open approach to simulation processes by providing simulation analysis and real-time configuration, and provides version data needed to do their jobs to the people that need to stay in their tools. Additionally, mainstream disciplines can access needed traceability of the simulation data to validate their designs. So it gives everybody the right information to the right person at the right time. And then fifth, Testing teams can ensure they are testing the correct version or variant and effectively manage test data. This is huge for us to make sure that we're testing what we're deploying. METIS provides the right product version, variant, and bill of materials at your fingertips. By integrating all our siloed systems together through this backbone, ARIS Innovator, testing data can more easily be traced back to the requirements, factoring in configuration changes and variants. Looking forward in the lifecycle by connecting installation information and our in-service engineering data, we are able to extend the digital thread out to the as-maintained baselines that are deployed into the fleet. However, we realize there cannot be one authoritative source of truth on its own. As you see in our depiction, we have an enterprise authoritative source of truth with our ARIS Innovator in the middle of all of our different systems that we use throughout the product lifecycle. So we took the approach that the digital environment will be enabled to support a system-to-system approach to interface the multiple tool suite using API technology and connectors as needed. This approach provides more flexibility for disciplines to create data in their own tools than release it using an integrated menu button or automated workflow function to METIS. And this permits people to have access to their tools while sharing data into METIS for our technical baselines. ARIS Innovator is an open source, rapid deployment product lifecycle management tool. Users with the appropriate access will see all of a program's information from models to architecture to logistics, all wrapped in the warm blanket of CM. ARIS Innovator for our METIS implementation, CM processes and procedures are built in so programs don't need to stop and think, what do I need to do for CM? What have I missed for CM? Do I have that information? And going to several different spreadsheets to pull a baseline together. METIS is going to give us that opportunity for it to be right there. Another key benefit of this environment is that all data can be digital and readily available. So auditors, because we do have technical authority, auditors can perform continuous monitoring without any additional support from the program under review because the interface connections will keep program data up to date at all times, adding the right tool for the right job. So this is a depiction of what our full lifecycle digital thread, and if you've seen ARIS, this is one of their views that we have taken a liking to because it's an easy way to depict what we are doing with ARIS. So in working with ARIS, utilizing ARIS Innovator, this view is a great depiction of the digital thread as we explain it when we're out talking to leadership and talking to our CM specialists and across the organization. The information integrations will be the end of data silos throughout the enterprise and allow us to trace the digital thread from the in-service item back through the as-built configuration and all the way to the actual requirements associated with them. Finally, this will not only provide the digital twins created during the product life cycle, but a complete end-to-end view of the digital thread that provides insight into what decisions were made along the way and why one decision was made over another. This transparency is the key to better decision-making, responsiveness to data calls, and repeatable product development. And by the release of the DoDI 5000.88 Engineering of the Defense System has allowed us to expand upon our CM capability to support the overall enterprise. So, what was our solution? As I've alluded to throughout this slide deck, we selected ARIS Innovator to be the backbone for our digital CM approach, and we branded it. We came up with our own name called the Master Enterprise Technical Integration Suite, powered by ARIS Innovator. So METIS is our acronym because being government, we like our acronyms. So we selected METIS because not only was it a cool acronym, METIS is also a Greek goddess of wisdom. As you can see in our logo, which we are very proud of, we felt she represented the function of CM well, and wisdom is sharing. And we want to share our data across the enterprise and have accessibility for the right people at the right time. So now I will turn this over to Miss Lisa July for a view of what we have been working on.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you everyone who decided to join our presentation. What I'm going to do is in a few slides, I'm going to let you see what we've done in the past year to bring our environment online. So the first thing you see on your left is a snapshot of a new form that we created, and it was our software item. We added the appropriate attributes, and we also used it to integrate with Jira. Just to give you a little backstory, the clients that we were using to perform our proof of concept, our POC, they wanted to use the Jira and keep their software engineers in their tool of choice. And basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to get an insight on what they were doing in Jira to push forward their software development. So what we have decided to do is to put in the integration to Jira, and as they were working on the software over there, we would use that integration to get information back from Jira into METIS so that our CM people would understand the status of any given item without either having to log into Jira themselves or to interrupt the software engineers to get the status that they needed. So as you can see on the lower right-hand side of that software form, you can see that there are two entries that we added. One is a pointer to the actual external Jira system, and the other is a pointer to the specific Jira project that is being used to manipulate and manage the software as it's being developed. On the right-hand side of that screen, you see how we set up our baseline reporting. Now here at NAVWAR, we have a specific format that we have to provide when we report out on our baselines. And as you can see, there are three separate columns. And the first column gives us our configuration items. Our second set of columns gives us the supporting documentation for a specific configuration item. And then on the far right-hand side of that page, you can see all of the list of changes that were used to implement those items in the rest of the table. This was really big. It was really big for us because there's not a whole lot of programs that can be able to produce this report at the tip of their fingers. And with this implementation, from whatever item that they view, they can go to the report tabs and pull up this report in a matter of seconds. And it is a huge win for us. Next, we integrated our change process with the out-of-the-box change report, change request, and change notice items. And we did a little configuration manipulation of those forms so that we were able to utilize and integrate the impact matrix to do our assessments. And if you see on the left-hand side of this screen, you'll see a change request. And at the bottom, you'll see the impact matrix. And in that impact matrix, we have the ability of identifying those items that need to be changed. And also, we have the ability to identify those things we need to review, whether up the hierarchy or down the hierarchy, that might also need to be included in that change. On the right-hand side, you see the cost tab. And basically what that is it allows our CM managers or CM specialists, whoever's maintaining or facilitating this change, they'll be able to identify all of those changes and the costs associated to those changes and identify them in a way that they are associated to a specific item that's being changed. That cost will roll up, and it's also a report that they have access to, again, at the click of a button. They go to the reports tab and they pull up the cost report, and it will tell them exactly, bottom line, what this change is going to cost the program, and then they can make better decisions going forward. And finally, we took the ECN and basically made it a way to a dashboard, a status dashboard is what you can identify it with. So if you look at the CN on the left, you'll see that under the More tab, you have the ability to create JIRA epics, refresh JIRA epics, and then a little bit further up, you can create your implementation plan. So let me start with the create JIRA epic. If we have software associated to a change that is being manipulated and managed in JIRA, we can identify that information. And then once we get to the point where we're doing the implementation, we will be able to set up the JIRA epic and send it back to JIRA and get the engineers started on their tasks. Once they set up the epic, and then they go in and they set up their user stories, those stories are passed back to METIS as status. So we can see at any time what is on the task list, what needs to be done, what has been started, what still needs to be started, et cetera, et cetera. So that way our change specialists will be able to identify those things that are on track and those things that might need to be addressed to get them started or get them going so that things don't fall behind or fall through the cracks. On the right-hand side, you can see where we've, at the bottom, where you see the JIRA epics, you can see where we have the epic that we generated in METIS, sent back to JIRA. They then decomposed it into 2 user stories, and you can see the status of those user stories as well. So this way, as I said earlier, the change people don't need to have JIRA accounts, and the software engineers don't have to have METIS accounts, and each person can work in their specific tool. I don't think, we don't have a slide for the implementation plan, but basically what that is it's a way that the change manager or change specialist will be able to see all of the items come together. They'll see the items that have been sent to JIRA. They'll see the items such as documentation or other parts or whatever was part of the change on a single dashboard, and they'll be able to make status, identify who's going to make those changes to those items, and then make sure that everything comes together when they're ready to move forward in making this release this change and complete it. I think I've covered everything, so I will send it back to Crystal.
Thank you, Lisa. Great job. So moving on to our next slide will be, this is our high-level roadmap. As you can see, we are still in our early stages of establishing the tool for the enterprise. This year, we are live with JIRA. In April of 2021, we stood up in the AWS cloud environment at NAVWAR Pacific, connecting to JIRA and to Cameo. And then in October of 2021, we're planned to be a shared resource for costing in one of our service centers. We will have a classified environment stood up in the IL6 environment, and we will be connecting at least one side to our integrated modeling environment called the IME for our MBSE models. And then in October 2022, we plan to set up a instance in the cloud production environment, just so we can better connect to the enterprise. And then in October 2023, we are looking to establish an instance in a high side environment like a JWIX or an IL7 type environment. So all these things are forthcoming, and it takes about 6 months to a year to get an environment established based on our infrastructure requirements for our networks. So as you can see, we've been moving along relatively fast, and we have a lot more stuff coming up, so we're looking forward to our new capabilities for CM. So that's going to pretty much end our presentation. As you can see, the digital CM vision for our enterprise is Our goal is for our vision is for transparency, collaboration, and innovation. And thank you so much for your time today, and Lisa for joining me to present. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate in sending me an email at crystal.d.thomas@navy.mil. And I also believe that Eris will forward me any questions you may have to follow up with. So have a great day, and thank you for attending.